right, everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. Today we're going to be tackling something that I think is going to resonate with a lot of you.
Oh, yeah.
Especially those of you in a relationship.
Absolutely.
We're going to be looking at some of men's most annoying habits, according to women.
Sure.
So this is from Men's Health.
Okay.
And, we're not trying to bash men here.
No.
We want to take a look and try and understand why these habits are so annoying.
Yeah.
So that maybe we can get a little bit better.
Improve.
Yeah, and improve.
It's a little self-awareness.
Exactly. So let's start with, I think, one of the most common ones.
Okay.
Not picking up after ourselves.
Yes. The classic.
Like the sock on the floor.
The dishes.
Yeah, the dishes in the sink.
Yeah.
It's like, come on. Why is it so hard to just put things away?
Well, I think part of it stems from men and women often have different standards of cleanliness.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So it's not just that we're lazy.
I wouldn't say it's about laziness necessarily. What's a mess to one person might not even register as a mess to another.
Interesting.
Yeah. And if you think about it, like, if a guy grows up and, someone else is always taking care of the cleaning, he might not even realize it's a mess.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It can be really frustrating, right?
Oh, absolutely.
For the person who is picking up all the time.
Yeah, because it's not just about the mess itself. It's about feeling like your partner doesn't see or value the work that you're putting in.
Yeah, it's like an imbalance of responsibility.
It can lead to resentment.
Yeah.
Sure. And, so often people, they kind of let these things build up and then it just explodes.
Yeah.
So I think the key is to communicate.
Yeah.
Like talk about...
Well, speaking of communication.
Okay.
Let's talk about something that I think a lot of men just don't understand.
Right.
Why do women get so upset when you ask them how much something costs?
Oh, the classic.
Like a haircut or a handbag.
It's just a question. What's the big deal?
But I think this is a really interesting one because it shows how differently men and women think about value.
Absolutely.
For a lot of women, a handbag isn't just a bag.
Right.
It's an expression of their personal style.
Yes.
It's something they've chosen carefully.
Yeah.
And so when you immediately go to the price, it kind of feels like you're reducing it.
You're missing the point.
Yeah.
You're not seeing the value beyond the monetary value.
Exactly.
And I think there's also a societal element to this too. Women are often judged more harshly for their spending habits than men.
Oh, that's true.
So there's this kind of extra layer of sensitivity around it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So instead of asking how much it cost, why not ask, what do you love about it? How did you choose it? Show a little more. Genuine interest in the thing itself.
It's about the meaning behind it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to another one.
Okay.
This is a big one. Talking to women like they're one of the guys.
Oh, yeah.
Like we get it. Locker room talk is fun.
Sometimes.
But there's a line.
Yeah.
Between being funny and being disrespectful.
For sure. And I think, again, this comes down to different communication styles.
Yeah.
Men tend to be more direct, more blunt, whereas women are often more nuanced in the way they communicate.
Okay.
So what might be okay with your buddies might not be okay. With the women in your life, it's about reading the room, knowing your audience.
Right, adapting.
Exactly.
Okay, so this next one's a little bit tricky,
Right.
but I think it's important to talk about. Talking about the future vaguely. Like, someday we'll travel the world, or someday we'll buy a house.
The classic.
But like, what is the plan?
Right.
What are the steps?
Right.
It can be really frustrating.
It can. And I think this one comes down to different ways of thinking about time and planning.
Okay.
Men might see these statements as, expressions of intention, the general direction they want to go.
But for women, it's like, we need specifics.
Yeah. Women often thrive on concrete plans and timelines.
Right.
And so it can feel like empty promises if it's all just vague.
So what do we do?
Well, again, it's about communication.
Yeah.
If you need specifics, ask for them.
Right.
Don't be afraid to say, okay, I love that you want to travel the world with me, but what are some places you'd like to go? When do you think we could start planning?
Yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah.
It's about being on the same page.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've talked about the future, but what about when the initial spark fades in a relationship?
Oh, yeah. The honeymoon phase.
Yeah.
It's great while it lasts.
It is.
But it doesn't last forever.
Right. And that brings us to the dreaded stopping trying to impress you phase.
Oh, boy.
Like, sweatpants are comfortable.
They are.
Look, get it. But a little effort goes a long way.
Yeah, a little effort.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, in the beginning of a relationship, you're both trying to put your best foot forward. You dress up for dates. You plan these elaborate outings. You shower each other with attention.
It's all very exciting.
It is.
But then as you get more comfortable,
Yeah.
that effort can start to disappear.
Things get a little too comfortable.
So how do we prevent that?
Well, I think it's about finding ways to show your partner that you still care,
Okay.
that you still find them attractive, that you're still invested in the relationship.
Right.
It doesn't have to be these grand gestures.
Right.
It could be as simple as cooking their favorite meal, complimenting their outfit, making an effort to dress up for date night.
Right.
You know, just little things.
Little things that show you care.
Exactly.
Okay, last but not least,
Let's talk about it.
asking someone out via text message.
Ooh, the modern dating dilemma.
I mean, come on, guys. A little romance wouldn't hurt.
I know, texting is so easy
Yeah.
and convenient.
It is.
But for a first date invitation, that can feel a little impersonal.
Yeah, you lose that personal connection.
Yeah, you don't hear their voice, you don't, see their face light up. It's just not the same.
So what's the ideal way to ask someone out these days?
That's a good question.
A phone call, a handwritten note, a grand gesture in Times Square.
Well, I think it depends, on the person, on the situation.
Okay.
But I think the key is to make it personal.
All right, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
Yes, have.
And I think one of the biggest takeaways is that a lot of these annoyances come down to miscommunication
Yeah,
and differing expectations.
absolutely.
And so if we can learn to understand each other better, maybe we can avoid some of these pitfalls.
I think so. Communication is key
Yeah.
in any relationship.
So we've talked about the annoyances, but it makes me wonder, what are some of the most endearing things that men do,
Oh, that's a good question.
according to women?
Flip the script.
Yep.
I like it.
Let us go in the comments.
Yeah.
What are those little things that make you feel loved and appreciated? Thanks for joining us for another deep dive. And remember, communication is key. Talk to each other, listen to each other, and hopefully we can all learn to navigate these relationship quirks with a little more understanding and a lot less frustration.
Absolutely.
We'll see you next time.